Namaste. On the auspicious day of Ganesh Chaturthi, I thought let me try and attempt giving a very brief yet deep meaning of Ganesh Atharvashisha. Ganesh Atharvashisha, the name itself suggests that it is named after Lord Ganesha, the deity with whose name pretty much every auspicious occasion is inaugurated or started. And Atharva Shirsha, the literal translation is unwavering head or unwavering mind. Atharva, Tharva means wavering, shivering. Atharva means unwavering, and Shirsha means head. So it basically is a poem or a hymn in praise of Lord Ganesha, who seems to be having an unwavering head or a mind. But if you look at it, the deep meaning, Atharva Shirsha is also an Upanishad, which is at the end of Atharva Ved. And Atharva Shirsha basically means that it's the head, the pinnacle of Atharva Veda. It's the sum up, the essence of Atharva Veda, named after the great Rishi Atharva from our Vedic past, who seems to have his imprint on pretty much all the verses, most of the verses that's ever been written in Atharva Veda. So Atharva Shirsha, in essence, is a sum up of Atharva Veda. If you don't get time to actually study the Ved, if you understand Atharva Shirsha in itself, it's going to get you the whole meaning of Atharva Veda. So let me attempt. The Atharva Shirsha has multiple sections. It starts with the Shanti Patham. So in the first video I'm going to upload a quick meaning of what Shanti Patham is all about. But in the subsequent videos I'll also break down the next few parts, which is nothing but the Nirguna Avatar or Nirgun Upasana description of how do you actually pray to Lord Ganesha, with his Nirgun Avatar, when there is no character description for it. And the other is the Sagun Avatar, so where you have an understanding of how he looks and so on, so that for people who want to have a devotional attachment to the Lord Ganesha, they get a Sagun Avatar or a characteristic description of Lord Ganesha, so they can pray to him in a much better way. And the third is of course the Falashruti, which is what do you get if you get to pray or cite Ganesha Atharva Shirsha 1,000 times and more. So that's how the structure is. Well, the first start of Ganesha Atharva Shirsha is Shanti Path. Shanti Path is nothing but a hymn which is mentioned at the start in order to bring peace and prosperity. It starts by saying Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shunyam Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhi Yajatraha Sthirayangaihi Tushtuvam Sastanu Bhirvashema Devahitam Yadayuhu. Omkar is a primary sound, an origin sound, the sound of the origin. It's also called as Anahat Nad. Ahat means being struck. And the reason why Omkar is called as Anahat Nad is primarily because it was the sound that emanated when Big Bang happened, when there was nothing to be struck against, but still the sound emanated. And hence it's called as an Anahat Nad. And in order to kind of relate to that origin of all origins, pretty much every verse in our Vedic scripture starts with Omkar, in order to not only to relate, but also to convey that all the things that are there in the universe today, they are because of the origin that happened at that particular point of time. So it starts with Omkar, and then it says Bhadram Karnehi. Bhadram means auspicious, and Karnebihi means through my ears. Shunyam Devaha. Let me hear all that's great and auspicious through my ears, O Lord. Bhadram Pashyem Akshabhi Yajatraha. Pashyem is to see, and Aksha is through my eyes. Bihi Yajatraha. Yajatraha means something which is sacred, as good as a yajna being performed. So it basically means through my eyes, let me see all that's auspicious in the world. Om Bhadram Karnebihi Shrunyam Devaha, Om Bhadram Pashyemakshabhya Jatraha, Sthiraihi Angaihi Tushtuvam Sastanu. Sthirai means steady, Angaihi means body and mind. So it says with steady body and mind, Tushtuvam Sastanu. Tushtuvam means let me enjoy the pleasures, the delight of the universe. Tushtuvam Sastanu. Bhirvashema Devahitam Yadayuhu. Yat Ayuhu means through the life. Devahitam means the benefits that have been passed to me by the God. And hence, in overall essence, it means, O Lord, through my ears, let me hear all that's auspicious. Through my eyes, let me see all that's sacred, as if there's a sacrifice, a fire sacrifice or a yajna going on. And through a steady body and mind, let me enjoy the pleasures of life that have been passed to me by all the deities. It then further says, Om Swastina Indro Vruddhashravaha, Swastinaha Pusha Vishwavedaha. Indra is basically the king of the deities. And when I say deities, I don't mean the god. It means the deities in those olden times. All these energies that maintain, create and destroy the universe, which is primarily the natural forces, whether it is the wind, the water, the fire, the earth, the ether, all these natural elements, each of them were termed as deities. And Indra was basically the king of these deities, who's known as Vruddha Shravaha. Vruddha means aged and Shravaha means having heard, which basically means as a deity, the king of all deities, having heard all that auspicious that's there in the universe so far, let him, grant me the boon that I'm going to ask for. Swastinaha Pusha Vishwavedaha. Pusha is the sun god. Vishwavedaha, as a sun god, you get to see all that's in the universe, so you're all knowledgeable. You know what's happening in the universe. So you also please grant me this boon. Swastinas Takshro Arishtanebhi. Takshro Arishtanemihi. Takshro is nothing but Garuda, eagle. And Arishtanemihi. Nemihi means destruction. The word nemesis in a way comes from this old Sanskrit root called Nemihi. And Aristha very literally means the crows, the wild crows or ravens. So during those old days when the sacrifices were being performed, they used to have these eagles or Garuda kind of being maintained at the site of the sacrifice so that the crows don't come along, because crows were considered to be evil. Some of those who will kind of impact the sacrifice that's being performed. So it is always a practice to have a Garuda. But then that's a literal meaning. If you go deep, the actual meaning is Ari means enemy, and the Sta root is basically pointing to the Shad Ripu, which is the 6 enemies that we have in our internal mind, which is nothing but the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsara, which means anger, desire, lust, gluttony, jealousy, right? And these kind of evils that you have in your own psyche, in your mind, they impact the way you live your life. They take you away from the pleasures of life. You're mentally always troubled because of these specific kind of evils, and hence the hymn, the particular line also mentions that let the Garuda of the internal consciousness keep these 6 evils away, so that I get to focus on the pleasures that the deities have to offer. So overall, the Shanti Patha says that I seek these boons from you, O Lord Indra, who has heard all the knowledge that's there in the universe. I seek the boon from the Lord Sun, who has seen all the knowledge in the world. And I seek the control of all these 6 evils that exist in my internal psyche, in my mind, through the control of the individual consciousness, the Garuda of the individual consciousness, so that I get to enjoy the pleasures of life that have been made available to me by these deities. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. And that's how ends the Shanti part. Next video, I'll post about what the Nirgun and the Sagun Upasana means and how it has been described in the Ganesha Atharva Shirsham. Keep logged in. Bye.